Hi everyone, how are you doing and welcome back. So in this episode of the Battlefield University, we're going to go over how to defend the objective when the enemies outnumber you. Now this situation usually happens when you're either solo or with a few teammates and there's sort of an overwhelming number of enemies sort of converging on the flag that you're defending or the objective that you're defending really. Now we're going to be going through my thoughts when this happens, how I go about it, and also be highlighting what I did well and areas where I can improve at for next time. So hopefully by doing this, you'll find something useful and sort of learn something for next time you play Battlefield, and something that you can implement into your own play style. Now if you see anything I can improve at as well, make sure to leave that in the comments, along with anything that you might have done different or kind of how you would go about it as well, since I'm always looking to improve myself and get better, and I'm sure a few others are as well. So if you want to submit your own clips, check the description down below on sort of how to go about that. There's also a video down there as well, sort of talking about what the series is and kind of what the main sort of goal to get out of the series is. So give that a watch as well if you're untoo sure or want to know how to submit your own clips as well. And anyway, let's get into it. There's enough to where it's like, oh, do I spawn at D or should I spawn on you? Because we're about to lose D as well.
There's enemies nearby. I got a few hits.
Bro, they're all on. They're all in D. I'm spawning on D. I need to spawn on D because we're about to lose it. In fact, I'm gonna run off. I'm just gonna run off around the corner. I couldn't get to the house in time. Oh, bro, but D's.
I'm coming D.
Nah,
I'm coming D.
Bro, D's. Like it's like full red bar.
Is it? They got dudes in the window, I think. I'm not too sure.
It's just me, man. They know I'm here.
Alright.
This is so.
Come on the right. I don't know what. I'm pushing the right.
I'm annoying.
Oh, I got a good sneak, but I got sniped.
Fuck it, bro.
They got a few medics. Right, I'm gonna come back as a medic. I thought that could be useful here.
Are we taking it back?
Medical syringe, bandages. I'm guessing, yeah, stick grenades kind of.
They know I'm here. They know I'm here, bro. Don't. I just blew at their house.
Oh god.
Right, I'm breaching in. They're across the barn. They're across the other barn.
Yeah.
Oh, I got killed. Watch above, on the stairs, behind, don't revive me. So at the start of the clip, you saw I was a bit undecisive on where to spawn. And this is because I had teammates sort of pushing up towards E, and there was sort of already contact going on there. So I thought, if I spawn there, maybe I can push up to take E. But then as I was sort of waiting to deploy, I saw a couple of red dots come up on the screen, and then I saw this massive blob that you can see here, sort of pushing up towards D. And there's only one guy, as you can see on the road there, sort of putting up a fight. There's 3 dead teammates. The guy sort of flanking the left side of that group of teammates, just outside of E. So I was there right, I'll spawn in D. If I can't defend it, it's just me by myself, I'll sort of just do the usual hit and run method that you see in the clip. And I can sort of just put up a bit of a fight, hopefully some guys can come down from B then, or, rotate around, just put up a bit of a fight to kind of stall the enemy, to allow my team to sort of spawn back in, or to sort of rotate around and sort of that thing. So that's why I ultimately spawned at D. Even if I knew I was going to die there, at least I can put up a bit of a fight, maybe take down a few enemies with me, and kind of see what happens from there, get a few guys coming over this way, just stalling them enough to sort of let teammates rotate over, or to spawn in, before they capture it, or spawn in at B and sort of put up a resistance there. Now we're going to slow the clip down and properly break it and sort of go into details. So in the end, yep, choose to spawn in at D. And you heard me say oh, I didn't make it to the house. That's because I knew by running across there, the enemy would see me going to one of those 2 houses, and I'd pretty much just get swamped. Or even if I didn't, I wouldn't probably have made it, to be honest. I would have got absolutely lit up by the enemy. So instead I fall back. Sometimes to go forward you need to fall back, and I fall back to the barn because I know there's a bit of hard cover there. The enemy more than likely didn't see me, and that way then I can sort of put up a bit of fight and move quite a bit around, sort of hit and run, basically, kill an enemy, run off, and that sort of thing. Here, in hindsight, I shouldn't have run out that door. As you can see, I've got no crosshair at the moment, because I'm sprinting, so there's that bit of delay of me getting my gun up. So in hindsight, yeah, I don't recommend running around corners all the time if you know there's enemies around, just because that second here and a second there, you know, can be the difference between life and death. Another mistake, I peek while reloading. You know, like enemies could have flanked around that side that I came from. Once again, big mistake. Here, I push round. Luckily, this guy's throwing a grenade, so I get on him. But I'm also panicking now because I know that grenade will kill me. Like, I'm under half HP. So I sprint over to this wall, you know, get into a bit of hard cover, because more than likely, you know, I thought like an enemy might have seen me kill their teammate, or it would have been up on the map. So I'm here, I'm sort of in hard cover. I see on the map there's sort of teammates behind me, so I know I've got sort of my flanks covered a bit. You know, obviously towards that road from earlier on, I knew there was sort of an enemy there, but you know, I've got a bit of wood there, so I'm in pretty good cover. Now I start pushing around. I see one guy enter there. Obviously, I didn't take the shot just because I didn't really have that opportunity to, and even if I got a bullet off, then I wouldn't have killed him. So I pushed into this house, you know, sort of once again in hard cover. Fortunately, run out of bullets there, but I switched to the pistol, you know, because it's got quite a high damage, and like you can see, I've narrowed him for like 93 HP. So it would have been a one shot anyway. So now I'm reloading. I'm sort of thinking about, you know, looking at the map. You can see there's quite a few enemies on the outside, you know, and it's still like it's half and half in the point at the moment. You know, I think we are sort of starting to capture it. I peek once again, and like I just see all these enemies sprinting out the building. I get the one that's sort of looking towards me that's falling, sort of the easier target, and I pull and retreat back inside. This is because I wasn't sure if any of the enemies might start to challenge me, and you know I don't want to be caught out in the open reloading. Luckily they're not, so you know I've kind of like fallen back inside since I know I've got a couple of seconds since nobody's there. Throw that limpet mine while that's going off. I rotate back around just to see if any enemies have decided like to come out of that barn and maybe start trying to challenge me. I see again nobody's there, so I rotate back around, you know, see if this limpet mine's opened up any sort of angles or anything. I can start taking people outside of the house. You know, I push into the house now, sort of trying to start clearing it out so we can sort of start capturing this point back. I take one guy down, that's luckily a sniper, and this is where I sort of get screwed over. So as you can see, that ribbon comes up that's saying that I got 7 kills in a round, and it gets rid of the capture point, like saying how many enemies are there. So then I'm like, oh, okay, we've captured the objective, you know, there's nobody else left in the objective. And I go into the stairs and get shot in the back. I mean, it is my own fault. I should have checked the corners. I mean, that is a prime spot on most flags. You know, that staircase around there. Just because, you know, you're at a disadvantage when you're having to come around and peek it. As the guy on the stairs, since he's already looking at one angle. But, you know, there's sort of several angles there he could have been on that stairs. So that's kind of my own fault and something I would have done differently. Before we round out the video, I'm just going to go over what I did well and where I can improve at. So what I did well, I was continuously moving. So this is just to prevent myself from getting surrounded. So I'd shoot an enemy or two and I'd kill them, and then I'd just move off. Because otherwise, if I stayed in that area, you know, it would start getting grenaded, blown up and that kind of thing, and I get surrounded. So I just want to be constantly on the move. I kept checking the map and flanks. So, you know, I kept looking at the map, seeing where enemy movement was, and since they were getting spotted by faux flares and my teammates, I just kept sort of checking the map and getting all the information from there to make sure we weren't going to get flanked or shot in the back or anything like that. I used cover, so as you can see, I was making sure to use hard cover and sort of using that to my advantage. There were some times where I moved too far out of the cover, and I could have gotten shot quite a lot from different angles because I moved too far out, but for most of the time, I used cover quite effectively. And also anticipating the enemy movement. So I was kind of using the information on the map, so where the red dots were, and kind of trying to work out where the enemy might be moving to next. So what could I do better? Not reloading / sprinting around corners, as I said earlier on, you know, it's the worst thing you can do because you're not able to fight back. If you're running around a corner and you don't know what's behind it, and you're reloading, obviously you can't shoot. Same with sprinting, you got to bring the gun up. Peeking the angle wide, like I just said, I used cover effectively, but you saw sometimes I went too far out of the cover, so exposed too much of my body that was like unnecessary to sort of expose. Taking more time to check common spots, so as you saw there, I kind of just ran in because I knew enemies were in that barn, so I just ran through the building to try and get kills, and so I got a bit greedy. I should have taken that time really to check that building because, you know, that is a common spot people hide in, so I need to make sure I do that more often. And sort of leading on to that, assuming the objective is clear, you know, you never know if people are just hiding on the outskirts of the objective, sort of out of that range where they sort of start capping it or sort of start appearing in the icon that there's enemies on the objective. So, you know, not always assuming that sort of the objective or the area around the objective is clear. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video and you found it useful, you know, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Like I said earlier on, anything that you picked upon, make sure to leave it in the comments down below. And yeah, if you want to see more videos like this and other sort of how-to guides and stuff like that, drop a subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one.